How you doing, Mr. DJ? Resuming countdown on my fantasy playlist. 3 more songs to go on this fantasy playlist of April 23rd, 1990. At number 3, yet another alternative act. Been a whole bunch of them on this fantasy playlist. At number 3, up from number 4. Cuts You Up by Peter Murphy from Great Britain, from Northampton, I believe was the place in England, formerly of the group Bauhaus. It's called Bauhaus. And that group with Daniel Ash. As a matter of fact, it was Daniel Ash who persuaded Peter Murphy to join Bauhaus. And this was in the early 80s. Group split up in 1983. They were one of these early goth bands. As a matter of fact, Peter Murphy was called the Godfather of Goth, known as one of the Godfathers of Goth anyway. But Peter Murphy did his solo thing, and then Daniel Ash and 3 other guys formed Love and Rockets. Do you remember Love and Rockets? No New Tale to Tell, that was in 1988. And then So Alive in the summer of 1989 with the half-whispered vocals of Daniel Ash. One of those, well, anyway. So Alive. Nice beat to that song, too. Peter Murphy, not quite as commercially successful, though. His first solo album was called Should the World Fall Apart, and then there was Love Hysteria, his second album, and it hit pay dirt with Deep. The album Deep went to number 44. I'm just wading through my chicken scratch again. I can't write worth a crap. My penmanship is horrible. I admit it. My eighth grade math teacher called my handwriting chicken scratch. Well, anyway, song went to, well, not the song, but the album went to number 44 on Billboard's Top 200 album charts. Sold 250,000 copies in 3 weeks, and I believe that was here in the States. I'm not sure if that was international or here in the States, but that's still pretty impressive. That's 250,000 copies. It was number 1 on the modern rock tracks. It's called alternative now, but back then the modern rock tracks, number 1 for 7 weeks. Went to number 55 on Billboard's Hot 100. Really not commercially successful enough. I mean, not commercially accessible enough to make it top 10 or top 20 on the pop charts or be played on pop radio, although I wouldn't mind hearing it on pop radio. He used a violin sample. Peter, one of the salient features of this record is the violin. And he used a sample of a violin in this record. But he brought in a violin player when he started recording the song to play the violin, but he was not happy when he heard the result, so he stuck with the sample. One of the things I like about this record, I absolutely flipped about this record, at times it seems like the backing vocals almost dissolved into infinity. It gave it sort of a transcendent feel. The song flirting with the parameter, the edges of dream pop, but not dream pop by any means, but sort of flirting with it, toying around with it just a little bit. Well, it is Peter Murphy with Cuts You Up at number 3, up 1 from number 4 on my fantasy playlist, April 23rd, 1990.